I've kind of somewhat been the visionary where I've had the ideas and coming up with ideas and the strategy. Galvanizing is one of the things that I like to do, which is pulling the team together. I love working with the teams, helping to solve problems, come up with ways for everybody to work together.
Hello all, we're here today. I'm Ryan with the Director of Sales with NTS Tire Supply here in Redwood Falls. We're privileged today to have Ben Paskewitz with us here. He's the big boss, the CEO of NTS Tire. So Ben, I was just wanted to ask you a few questions today, do a little get to know, and what exactly does NTS stand for?
So when we purchased the business, it was called Nest Tire Supply. We wanted to retain as much of the name as we could, keep a similar name so that it wasn't like a big change to our customer base. So instead of Nest Tire Supply, we just changed it to NTS.
So your family's been in the tire business for 4 generations?
Yes, actually, back in the 1920s and 30s is when my great-grandpa first started selling ag tires, and he was working with Firestone. He was actually originally switching farmers over from steel-wheel tractors to rubber tire tractors. He was educating farmers on the fact that rubber tires with an air chamber were less soil compaction and better fuel consumption than the steel wheels. Well, we're still having that conversation today, as you know, about VF versus standard radial. It's interesting that 100 years later, we're still having similar conversations.
Yeah, things continue to evolve. That's really interesting. What was it that really made your decision to leave the automotive industry, the high-speed industry, and go all ag?
With automotive, we were kind of restricted to our local customer base, and with the agriculture side, that was really what we love to do. What we're passionate about is helping these farms get the right tire set up on their equipment.
Do you see that it's more technical, and it's more of a, you got to be good at it to be in it?
By being focused on ag, one thing we've been able to do is hire talent who have a farming background on our sales team, and they understand what the farmer faces. They know the difference between a John Deere and a Fendt tractor. If you try to be good at everything, you're probably going to be not great at any one part of it.
That's interesting. So it's hone in and find where your niche is and make yourself the best in the marketplace at it, really. So you're CEO of the company, and you're the middle between your two brothers, right? Cal and Stuart. So how were you able to finagle that?
I wouldn't say it was finagling it. I think one thing as a family, I really appreciate the fact that we work together well. Not to say we don't have our occasional heated debates, but and even as a company, I think we all recognize this, that we all want to play to our strengths, right?
Absolutely.
Let's identify what is it that we are naturally talented at and love to do, and let's focus on that. So Stuart has got an attention to detail. He's been great on operations. He ran a service truck for years, and that was really his passion. And so he wanted to take over operations and run that. Where Cal's very analytical, he's good at analyzing data, and that's really what he loved to do. He didn't really like managing people or dealing with that side of it as much. So we kind of all focused on the areas that we were good at, and I've always enjoyed pulling teams together, getting projects moving, and I've kind of somewhat been the visionary where I've had the ideas and coming up with ideas and the strategy, and that's what I love to do, and so it just made sense, I guess.
Oh, no, that's good. No, we all know what it's like to be acceptable to your changing mind, so that's new ideas. It's good. So yourself were in sales at NTS for quite a number of years. Do you miss the sales, or was it something you were glad to be moved on from? Or?
Yeah, I enjoy sales. The main thing I love about it, though, is really working with the customer and understanding what their problem is, and then coming up with a solution to solve it. That's the thing I love. When it comes to just ongoing selling stuff that becomes second nature, if you will, that's where I get bored. And so I want to try to work on the next thing, So for me to get on the coalface and understand our customers and realize that a gap in the market was farmers and equipment dealers, they wanted a partner who could help them get the right tire set up on their equipment. But then they had these trades that were coming off, and they needed somebody that could take that back and resell it for them, just kind of the whole package.
Light bulb kind of came on.
So that was in 2012. That was when we really decided that's what we wanted to focus on, because there was a clear need in the market, and it was something that we already were set up well to do, and so we've kind of just focused on that.
That makes sense. I was, as far as what you're doing today, you have a lot to do with a lot of people. What's your favorite part of it?
Galvanizing is one of the things that I like to do, which is pulling the team together. So I love that. I love working with the teams, helping to solve problems, come up with ways for everybody to work together.
You know, it's the industry has come so far, changed so much. It is something that we can be passionate about. What would you share with us? What is your passion?
Yeah, I love the idea of helping farms make the right decision. I think soil compaction and the yield loss from it is a huge gap in precision farming still. Soil compaction, according to a study by University of Minnesota and North Dakota, it takes away 20% of the yield of a crop.
Crazy.
Which you're never going to 100% get rid of compaction because there's a lot of equipment that has to go across the field. But if we can minimize that and increase their profitability, I think if we can get good at helping farmers do that and make it easy for them to do the whole changeover and get the right tire set up, that's what I'm passionate about. I'd like to create a team who are focused on that and tools and resources to make that possible, and it takes educating the market as well. But that's really, I think, our passion as a team. I think that's really what brings us all together as a company.
Do you see anything, you know, there's electric tractors coming out. I know there's a guy that goes around with a team of drones and they spray. I mean, do you see massive interrupters in the marketplace, or do you think we're a long ways from that?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be innovations and improvements. One big innovation, as we all know about, is the central tire inflation system. I see that as the next auto steer, where I think every farm eventually is going to see that as a necessary part of their equipment, is having a tire inflation system where they can have variable air pressure in the field versus on the road. It's incredible how much that can save them. They can pay off a very expensive system in 1 year just because of the increased yield. I think there's going to be improvements like that and innovations, but I don't see anything that's going to mean that it's only robots running our farms anytime soon.
There'll still be farmers, yeah. NTS's mission, drive farming forward. That's one of our main slogans, and I just wondered what you'd say about that.
If we can take more of a consultative approach and help these farms make a better decision around their traction and get the right tire set up where they can reduce that soil compaction, increase their yields, and they're gonna have better equipment riding down the road in the field, and even in a tough year especially, if we can help them not get bogged down in the mud. You know, those are the kind of things that I think really we're positioned where we can help drive these farms forward.
I think it was what you came up with, you know, the brand promise with a guarantee. You know, I know in the early years when I started, it was always a question of what do we return if it doesn't work right, or how do we handle this, or a warranty. And I think that was really your initiative, and I just wondered if you'd just kind of lay that out, the brand promise with a guarantee.
If we can take the risk away for a farmer, you know, if we're advising them and helping them get a different tire wheel set up, there's some risk involved for them. What if it doesn't work? And originally we deal with a lot of takeoff and used tires because of doing the changeovers. So when they're buying a used tire, there's risk in that as well. If we can take that risk on ourselves, it's a much better experience for the customer. And it helps hold ourselves accountable to make sure that we do a very good job of making the right recommendation. If a tire fails, or if bolt pattern's off or anything like that, if it's something that is our mistake, well, we're going to make that right, and we're going to make it right at our own expense.
Yeah, I think that's good. It takes you're basically saying we're going to recommend this for you, if it doesn't do what we said it does, we'll stand behind it. I mean, if it's not what we said it was. That covers that very well. I think that's one of our powerful tools that we use, is people takes the risk away from them. What would you say, to farmers that are, they know they have a compaction issue maybe, and they just really haven't addressed it yet? And what would your word be to them?
Like we talked about, farmers got a lot to think about. They might not have time to research all that, so we can get somebody out on the farm, we can take a look, and we can say, hey, we got one simple fix. Without much expense, you can make a huge impact on your profitability. Once that's proved out, well, what's the next thing, And just get comfortable with finding the best option.
Yeah, I think that's good. So kind of a little bit tougher years, you're not wanting to put a huge outlay of cash on something. You can kind of, let's pick at the worst spots and start the process.
Yeah.
Some people are very familiar with how a changeover works. Other people, it's quite a big deal to them. They've never maybe had the experience. So we're looking at, say, a planter that needs a new set of VF tires, and we're going to do this, or maybe a tractor that's pulling the planter that we want to go to LSW, big wide singles on, or a VF tire. After we've done the discovery of where the worst problems are, I mean, just kind of tell us briefly what that looks like for the farmer. Just if you could lay that out.
I think that's what probably sets your team apart. They can make it so easy for farmers to make the whole project happen, because it is a project, really. I mean, you've got to get the right wheels, you got to get the right offset, the right hubs, and what's the right tire, and then you got your trades to get rid of, the logistics of shipping back and forth, getting them hung on the equipment. There's a lot to think about. But I think that it comes back to focus, really. The fact that as a company, we focused on being good at getting the right tire set up on their equipment. It means that we've created all the tools and the processes and we've actually, even created software around evaluating our trade-in products and being able to just be really fast at doing them quotes. So when a farmer calls in, within a 20-minute phone call, you've done the discovery, understood what the problem is, made a recommendation, got them a complete quote on getting the right tires, wheels, hardware, trading in what's coming off the equipment, us delivering right to the farm and even hanging it on the equipment if they want. And everything is preset pricing, even on the service side of it. We've got flat rates set for the different types of units of work we're doing. We've got our own manufacturing facility, so if it requires custom building wheels, we've got all that figured out. Most places wouldn't be able to do that because they don't do enough of it, but when we're doing this every day, it's allowed us to get good at it and understand what's involved and train our techs accordingly.
It's good to touch on that. How do you see where the company's going in the near future? What's your sight on it?
I mean, I feel like we really found our niche in the market, and I just see us continuing to expand that. We do sell to all 50 states and even into other countries. So one thing that we've been starting to do that I'm excited about is starting to add service hubs. And then as we go further out, we might need another distribution center, but then more service hubs. So I can just see us taking the solution we've created and expanding it out. And I'm looking forward to the future and working with a great team like we got with you and your team.
Yeah, thanks for that, and I appreciate the time today. I think for myself, I think it's huge the way we've got a leadership team and it's been broke down, and it just makes everybody more passionate about the company. You actually having to let go of things and let other people make decisions is a huge thing. It's not something I'm good at myself, so I can appreciate it in you, and it's made NTS an awesome place to work. And I think I can attest to that as much as anybody. I've been, however many years we've been working together, it's just gotten better. So, well, with that, thanks a lot, Ben. I appreciate that. And thanks all you that took time to watch us, going over a little history of NTS. And I would say keep tuned to future videos coming up in this series so you can get to know the NTS team on a more personal level. And hopefully that helps you understand who we are and what we are as a company. Thanks, and have a great day.